The cheapest thing about that cabin wasn't the $40 a night. It was us. It was everything we didn't know we were handing over, every single hour we stayed there. For 3 days, my girlfriend and I were watched, filmed, in a place we thought was completely, totally our own. And the part that still keeps me up at night is that we were never supposed to find it. He'd hidden it too well for that. I think that's the reason he came back. Before we get into it, if you're the type who likes the lights off, the volume up, and a story that sits with you a little after it's over, do me a favor and hit that like button and subscribe so the next one finds you. We put these out 3, sometimes 4 nights a week. All right, let me tell you what happened. My name's Caleb. I grew up in Coon Rapids, just north of Minneapolis. 2 years ago, I was 28, working a job I didn't love, dating a girl I did. Her name's Nora. That fall, the both of us were burned out. The city, the work, the noise of all of it. So in the last week of October, Nora found us a place to disappear to for a few days. A cabin, like way up north, on Burnside Lake, just outside a little town called Ely. If you've never been up there, Ely is about as far as you can drive in Minnesota before the roads start to run out. Boundary Waters country, the kind of place that's packed all summer, and then the second the cold comes in, it just empties, goes silent. It was about 4.5 hours from our apartment, and the cabin was cheap. That's the part I keep coming back to, even now. $40 a night, off-season rate. Over 200 reviews. Every single one of them, 5 stars. People wrote that the host went above and beyond, that they felt looked after. His name was Roy. He started messaging us before we'd even packed the car. Friendly stuff. Safe travels, you two. Can't wait to have you. Little smiley faces after every line. Nora thought it was sweet. I thought it was a lot. But you don't think anything of it, do you? You just think, nice guy. We got there well after dark, and honestly, it was perfect. Wood walls, a stone fireplace, the whole place smelling like pine and cold air. The key was under the mat right where Roy said it'd be. We hauled our bags in, poured ourselves a couple glasses of wine, and we just exhaled. First time in months. That's when my phone buzzed. It was Roy. The message said, "Bottle opener's in the second drawer, by the way. Hope the wine's good." And I just kind of stared at it, because we never asked him about a bottle opener, and I sure never told him we'd brought wine. I showed Nora. She shrugged. He probably says that to everybody. People bring wine to a lake cabin, right? Right. Sure, that's what I told myself. We went to bed, and somewhere around 3 in the morning, I woke up. I don't know what woke me. Nothing had made a sound. But I had that feeling. You know the one. That prickle on the back of your neck. Like the air in a room has changed. Like you're not the only thing in it anymore. I lay there in the dark, dead still, listening to Nora breathe. And I looked up at the ceiling. There was a little green light up there, blinking, slow, steady, a smoke detector. That's all it was. I told myself to quit being ridiculous, rolled over, and after a while I fell back asleep. The next day we drove out to Bearhead Lake, hiked around for a few hours. It was a good day. A completely normal day. We got back to the cabin right as the sun was going down, kicked off our boots, and I started building a fire. My phone buzzed. Roy again. Hope you two enjoyed Bearhead Lake. That's my favorite spot up here. And I went cold, Right there on the floor in front of the fireplace, I went cold. Because we never told him where we were going, we hadn't messaged him all day. There was no way on earth he could know we'd been out at Bearhead Lake, unless he'd watched us leave, unless he was watching the cabin, I told Nora. And this time she didn't shrug. This time she got very quiet, and she said, "Maybe he saw the car go past. Maybe he lives close by." And that's when I remembered one line from the listing, a line near the bottom that I'd barely even read when we booked it. It said, "Your host lives nearby in case you ever need anything at all." Nearby, I tried to let it go. I really did. We made dinner, put on a movie, but I couldn't stop noticing things now, like the smoke detector in the living room. It wasn't sitting flat against the ceiling the way they usually do. It was tilted, angled down, toward the couch, toward us. Later that night, the temperature dropped, and Nora got up and grabbed an extra blanket out of the hall closet. We pulled it over us and finally started to relax again. 10 minutes later, my phone buzzed. "Glad you found the spare blankets in the closet. Stay warm in there." I have never moved so fast in my life. I got up, grabbed my phone, turned the flashlight on, and I climbed up onto that couch and held the light right up against the living room smoke detector. And there it was, tucked in behind the little plastic vents, right where the sensor should have been. A lens. A tiny, black, glassy lens. And it caught the light and it shined right back at me. I went room to room after that. The one in the bedroom, the one I'd slept under, the one I'd changed clothes under, same thing. A lens, angled at the bed. There was one in the hallway. And there was one in the bathroom. I want to be real clear about what that means. He didn't just watch us sleep. He watched all of it. For 3 days. Nora was crying. I was trying to think. And the one smart thing I did that whole weekend was this. I didn't smash them. I didn't rip them off the ceiling. Because if he was watching right then in real time, I didn't want him to know that we knew. Not yet. Not while we were still inside that cabin, hours from anywhere, in the pitch dark. So I just took a dish towel from the kitchen and real casual, like I was wiping down a shelf, I draped it over the one in the living room. My phone buzzed before the towel even finished settling. "Everything okay in there?" He was watching. Right then, he was watching us, and he knew exactly what I'd just done. We didn't pack. We didn't even finish getting dressed. We grabbed the car keys and our phones and left every other thing we owned sitting in that cabin, and we ran for the car. And as I backed out of the driveway, my headlights swept across the road, and there was a truck parked on the shoulder, maybe 100 feet down, in under the trees. No lights, engine off. And there was somebody sitting in it. I don't remember most of that drive. What I remember is Nora turned around in her seat, watching the back window the whole way, and a pair of headlights that stayed behind us for about 20 minutes before they finally dropped back into the dark. We reported it, of course. Called the county sheriff the second we had a signal. Reported the listing the minute we got home. The rental company took the listing down. They were so sorry for our experience. They could not, they told us, share any information about the host. Privacy policy and the sheriff's office. They actually drove out to that cabin 2 days later. And here's the part I still can't shake. They found nothing, no cameras, no smoke detectors with anything hidden inside them. Every single one had been swapped out for a normal one. Clean. like we'd dreamed the whole thing up. Which means that somewhere in those 2 days, he went back in to erase it. We tried to move past it, we really did. But about 4 months later, Nora was up late one night, half asleep, scrolling, looking for somewhere we could get away to in the spring. And she went very still. And she turned her phone around to show me a listing. Different name on the host, different photos. A cabin up north, sitting right on a lake. Cheap, off-season rate. Good reviews. But I knew that window. I knew the exact way the trees broke around the water on the far side of that glass. I'd stared out of it for 3 days. It was the same cabin. New name on the host. Still up, still taking bookings. So somewhere out there tonight, somebody is scrolling through those 5-star reviews, thinking they just found a great deal on a quiet little place by the water. We thought that too.